just a little bit because I didn't pick that much. Maybe about 80 pounds a day, 40 pounds before lunch, and about 40 after lunch. And we used to go rabbit hunting, stuff like that. And at night we used to hunt possum, and the day, early morning, we used to hunt squirrels. So I think that's about. That's nothing.
Sounds like pretty full days.
Oh yes.
Who would you hunt with at night and in the morning?
I would hunt with my grandfather, or most of the time, and sometimes during the day I was hunt with my cousins.
What was your grandfather's name?
Emmett Garner.
Was that on your mother's side? Grandfather on your mother's or father's side?
On my father's side. No, on my mother's side, I'm sorry.
Okay. And so who did you live with growing up?
I lived with my grandparents.
Okay.
From 1 year old up until about I've been about 16 or 17 years old. Then I left and went to Bessemer, Alabama, to live with my aunt.
To Beston?
Bessemer,
Alabama.
yes, and lived with my aunt for about 2 years, and then I went into the service. July 14, I think, somewhere in there, 45.
Okay. And you were 18?
Yes.
Okay. Why were you living with your grandparents? Raised you on your mother's side?
Yes.
And why were you living with them?
Well, I was living with them because of she was staying with them when I was born. See, she wasn't married at the time, and after I was born, a year later she got married, and they told her that that she couldn't take me with her, so they said they was going to keep me.
Okay, so your grandparents raised you.
Right.
And was it a farm that they owned? And
no, they just rented the farm.
Okay. And tell me, you said that you would pick about 40 pounds of cotton in the morning and 40 in the afternoon.
Yes.
Is that sounds like a lot for a child?
Well, that wasn't too much. At the time I was doing this, I must have been about 14.
Wow. What would an adult be able to pick?
Adult used to pick the 200 pounds.
And so you also said that you would hunt with your cousin. Now, who was your cousin?
His name was Willie Frazier and Emmett Garner. So.
Did you also go to school?
Yes, I went to school. Just very little. I maybe about I went to school until I was about 13 years old. City school, the school was just we had teachers that didn't even finish high school, and the school we was going to was in the people's church, but that's what we were using for a schoolhouse. And from there, after I grew up and went to Bessemer, I worked in a factory about a year, and then after that I went to the service.
Okay. And so, what kind of work did you do in Bessemer at the factory?
I was working on a Coca-Cola bottling company, and I was more or less inspecting the drinks, they just pass through a light, and if I see something, if I see something trashy or something dirty in there, I put that bottle aside. I take them out of off the conveyor belt.
And before you went into the service, did you have any knowledge of direct experience with racism and prejudice growing up?
Of course. Yes. That was all. I had a lot of that. That was all it was around there. Mm-hmm. Racism, prejudice. But by me being, young, it didn't bother me too much, and so my parents told me that, how I went and stuff like that. So I guess I got used to it.
What would your grandparents tell you?
Well, they just told me that I had to be careful on what I said around those white people, mm-hmm. because they would probably lynch me and stuff like that.
So you knew at a young age what lynchings were?
Of course, at a very young age. I said about 11 or 12, I knew about it.
Mm-hmm. So, anything else that sticks out in your memory about Alabama and growing up on the farm with your grandparents? Did you get to see your mother?
Yes, I saw her all the time. She was staying in about 7, 8 miles away, but
okay.
Odd enough, I never did stay with her after. Only time I stayed with her from the time I was born up until I was a year old. And I didn't even call her mom until I got grown.
Oh, okay. So you referred to your grandparents as your parents?
Right.
Right, okay. Tell me about entering the military. How did you decide to enter the military?
Well, I really didn't decide to see when I got to be 18. I registered for the draft, and they drafted me in at 18 years old. So.
And was World War II still going on?
Yes, I was drafted in July 14, 1945. So from there, we went to Fort Benning, Georgia, and we had an exam to pass. And they said that everybody that they was going to send us to the Navy after we passed our physical. I mean to the Army. So they said everybody wants to be stood, that they was going to have to go to the Marine Corps, and those that didn't, that they were going to stay there in Fort Benning, Georgia. So I told them, I told them I wanted to be a seaman, so they sent me to the Marine Corps. So that's the way I wound up being in the Marine Corps. And I had this short span there. We was there, I got out. I was there from 45 to 46. I got out in November 46, and I went back home. I got a job, and I didn't like the work, so that's when I volunteered and went back into the Marine Corps. And which I stayed about 4 years. That's when just before I stayed up, went back in and stayed from 48 until 52. Yeah, 52. And that was, after I was there for a while, then that's when they shipped us off to Saipan, and from there to Incheon and Korea. And I stayed in Korea for about maybe a year, from 50 to about 51. And I came back to the state, and I was discharged in August 52, I think.
So when you first entered into the Marine Corps, what was your training like? And what did they train you to do?
Well, the training was kind of real rugged. They trained us for how to fire rifles and weapons, and how to fight in the combat zone, which we used M1 rifles. We fired big M1 rifles and BR rifles, stuff like that. But we never did go. I never did go on the front line. They trained us for that, and they put us, most of us, in a service battalion. In other words, to supply the frontline troops with ammo, with ammunition and stuff like that.
And what did you know about World War II at that time that you were drafted?
What did I know about it?
Yeah.
Well, the only thing I knew that at the time, they was at war with the Japanese. After I got in, the war was over. Mm-hmm. with the Japanese after. Let me see, I went in July. It was over sometime in August. Mm-hmm. And so I really didn't see no combat in that phase, but I was on the fire in Korea, like mortar fire, but this was years later, like around 50, because we landed in Incheon on September 15, 1950.
Okay. And why did they send you to Saipan, and what did you do there?
We didn't do nothing, but I take it back. We did it. We were more or less like a service thing, and in Japan, my mate, we was doing guard duty. I used to guard Japanese prisoners. They had a lot of Japanese prisoners there on Saipan at the time, and we used to take them on working details, we called it, and get guard duty at night, and during the day we take these Japanese out on working detail. That's most of what I did in Saipan.
And what was that like?
Well, it was all right.
Was there any communication with the prisoners?
Yeah, of course. I talked to them. I got along well with them because they always real friendly. It wasn't that. Like we travel, we'd be on the same truck, and maybe about 30 prisoners, and it'd be just about one. We were on that with them, and we all laughing and talking. They were very friendly, the Japanese was. Never wasn't a problem. I never did think of nothing like, disciplining anybody or shooting anyone like that.
And did they speak English?
Yeah, some of them.
Yeah.
soft-spoken, and they used to translate different things about what the other one be saying, but otherwise it was all right.
And then when did you first learn that you were going to Korea?
When I first learned I was going to Korea, and sometime we went there. It must have been in July. Because I was about to get out of service, and they extended. They passed some kind of thing to my everybody had less than 6 months to go. That Truman had extended them for a year. They had to go to Korea. That was in, let's see, that was sometime in August or July 49 or 50, because we went there in 1950, sometime in July, I think, I'm not sure.
And how did you feel when you heard about Truman's announcement?
Well, I just felt that it was just a way of life. I didn't like it, but I didn't complain about it. In fact, I didn't like it because I wanted to get out, but I didn't do no complaining about it.
Mm-hmm. And so, what are some of your first memories when you arrived in Korea?
First memory in Korea was when we went to show, we went to show in these little kind of like little boats that come up to the big ship, and when we landed there, first person, Jim Douglas MacArthur, he was also there in Incheon. That was we went ashore in Incheon, but from there we went up to Seoul, Korea, and I didn't come on in the fire there, in the fire, because the infantry troop had went ahead of us.
Okay.
And Korea, it wasn't bad, so we stayed there a few months, and then we came back, got aboard ship, and went up to a place called Wonsan, North Korea. We stayed up there a few months, and some of my friends, they was in what they call the Graves Reservation. They go back. They was gone. They go and pick up the dead and bring them back for for the ship to buy them or to bury or whatever.
What did you call that duty?
Graves Reservation.
Graves
Restoration.
Restoration. Okay.
So, but then at that time I was in a laundry outfit where we watched all the guys, clothing that they wear, all the infantry, they had a laundry, field laundry that we watched all the guys in uniform and stuff over there.
Were you, how did you feel that you were trained in the use of weaponry and you didn't get to use that training, that you were used more in service? What was your response to that?
I liked that because, to be truthful, I did not want to be on the front line, no way. I liked it where I was in the rear, serving the guys on the front, because they was the one that usually was getting shot up, and I didn't want to be up there. So I had no qualms with that at all.
Would you hear stories from the guys that would come back
Yes,
from the front?
Yes, lots of stories. In fact, I had some friends that was in service battalion. Some of them was captured and a few of them was killed, you know, where they were gone to pick up some of the dead, and, you know, the guy, you know, where these snipers come out and, you know, and shot them up. Like in North Korea, the guy that was in grave restoration, they was surrounded in a sense because they got cut off. See, we weren't supposed to go up around there. Truman had told MacArthur not to use any American troops around the Yalu River, but MacArthur, he went ahead and did so anyway, and it was a whole lot of us a whole lot of them got shot up, because I had some friends get shot up, and that's when the news broke out to me about this. For the first time in Marine Corps history, they are retreating, and I think Marine Corps replied that we wasn't retreating, we were just attacking from a different direction. Although I wasn't up there, but it was some of my friends that was in grave restoration was up there, and some of them, just a few of them got, you know, killed and captured or whatever. So that's about it.
What was your opinion of General MacArthur?
Well, I disliked him for the simple reason I thought he I like the idea that he was gonna go to the president head and put us in harm's way, and he replied to Truman that he did it because of military necessity or something like that, and I had a poor opinion because in fact I was glad that Truman fired him, because he looked like he was gonna get a bunch of us killed up there. So he might have done a great job, but I didn't have no love for him. In fact, Ridgway, he replaced MacArthur at that time, and Truman called MacArthur home. But I liked Truman for the thing, for what he did to MacArthur. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was great. But you know, war it's a dirty game. Mm-hmm.
Did you know, or what were you told about why we were in Korea? Why did you think we were there?
Well, we was told that we had to go over there because the army they was retreating, and we were supposed to be there to support their South Korean. See, it was a thing that was between the North Korea and the South Korea, and we were supposed to go to try to keep the North Korean from overrunning the South Korea. By me not being on the front line, it didn't bother me but a little bit, and except a few times when they was throwing mortars in back in the rear. So, all in all, I didn't like it now.
Mm-hmm. And when you were being mortared, was that the most frightening time, or can you describe that?
That was the most frightening time. See, we we were supposed to dig our foxhole in North Korea and start to find mothers in that area. And in the process, me and my friend, we were digging foxhole, and we dug up a human skull. And when the mother started coming in, we just threw dirt back on it, and we just slept on that. And you know, because now that was the only time that I was really afraid. But other than that, I didn't have no more, you know, scary days.
Did you lose friends in Korea?
Did I lose friends?
Yeah. Were any of your friends killed while you were in Korea?
Yeah, I walked and see. I lost 2 friends. Mm-hmm. That was it. Out of my whole company, which was consisted of about 250 men. I had 2 friends that was lost in that.
Who were your closest friends?
Who was my closest friend?
Yeah.
Well, the one that was, what you want names?
Yeah.
A guy named Givens and Dave Sussberry. Roebuck, which he got killed, and I had a few more. I can't remember the name offhand. And Chapman. They was all beautiful people. You know, I was close with them. We associated together a lot.
What would you do in your free time?
And in our free time, we just we got together and they sang, and some of them played music. Some of them, you know, they was, you know, played guitar and stuff like that. That was about it.
What was the food like?
Well, we ate mostly sea ration food, you know, canned food over there. But after, you know, they put up the kitchen, you know, these portable kitchen where they cook. It was all it was the best. It wasn't the best, but it was great. But mostly we had sea ration, what we call it, you know, mostly canned food, different types. You know, it had different fruits and, you know, stuff like that.
And was the Army was the Marine Corps becoming integrated by this time yet?
Yeah, well, that was about when it first became integrated. It got integrated just before we went to Korea. Eleanor Roosevelt, she came down to the base and she asked why was no black Marine on this particular base, and it was things like that. But after she left, then they started to integrate. See, when I was there, when I first went in, everybody was, you know, separate, all, you know, all black. It was trained by himself. It was trained by blacks and everything. There wasn't no mix until when they first integrated. It was just before we went to Korea too. Maybe about a year, maybe. It must have been about 40. But no, I wasn't. It was later than that. I don't remember it yet, but it was a short time before I went to Korea.
What base did she visit?
She visited. It was a base called Muscle Point. See, when I said Camp Lejeune, see, this was this taking up all the the bases, but Muscle Point was the base where it was just only blacks there, and Camp Lejeune was the base where all the white was there.
So Eleanor Roosevelt came to your camp.
Yes.
And what did you think of that?
Well, I thought it was great. Because after she left, then in fact, it wasn't at that time when she first came down there. It wasn't no black Marines. Period. Because she asked her husband why wasn't he in the black Marines or something, and after she left, then they started drafting. The first black Marine went in the service. It was in 1942. That was the first black Marine. Was in 1942 because I had a good friend that was in there. Because see, I went in 45, which was about 3 years. About 3 years later. So the first one went in was 1942. Before then, it was it was all white.
So when the Marine Corps started to integrate right before you went to Korea, what changes took place? Anything that you remember?
No, well, it wasn't too much. They started to train them and basic, when recruit training mixed in, but you see, when I went in, they was all trained, blacks. It wasn't it wasn't no white, period. So it was true change, and we started living in the same barracks and stuff, going to the same movie, but that was just when they started to integrate, when we was going to the same movie.
Was there a lot of tension over that, or was it not a big deal?
No, it wasn't a lot of tension over that, because we was on separate bases. Although base, because the base, they might have been about 4 miles apart, so we didn't have no inner thing with that, but it was a little tension after they started integrating, but it wasn't nothing to talk about.
And the friends that you made, were they from different parts of the country?
Yes. Some were from Michigan, Detroit, Connecticut, Ohio, Florida. It was different. Well, I made friends with just about everybody, but a few. One guy there, he was in our outfit there. He's from New York, and this county he was holding an inspection, and he asked him was he gonna re-enlist, and he said no sir. So the county asked him why. So he said the Marine Corps was too damn crazy. I don't when I do this, when my time is up, I just want to get out of here. I don't never want to see it no more. And I really admired him for speaking up like that. He really told him, said they was too darn crazy. And so.
Was there a difference in attitude between, say, you came from the South and he was from New York City? Did he live in New York City? Was there a difference in attitude between African Americans you met from the North and those that were from the South?
Well, yeah, we it was sometimes with a few of them, you see, because you know, some of them that was from the north, they didn't like, they didn't get along too well with the one from the south. They got along, but they let it be known that they didn't want to be associated with the one from the south. Although we all was black, but it was just a small, small minority.
When did you find out that the war was ending and you were going to go home?
When I found out the war was ending?
Yeah.
Where?
In Korea.
Well, actually, in Korea, it wasn't ending when I left.
Okay.
It's, see what happened now. No, it was almost, but we got orders to pull out. Sometime in 651, left Korea in November. Sometime in 51, I left there. See, I went there in August, and see, we were serving so many months there, and then they was sent over a replacement. Mm-hmm. Although it wasn't over because guys were steady, coming down. But it had the North Korea. They have been they had just about surrendered because they had changed everything up around the Manchurian border. See, that's when they was on the run, and that's when MacArthur told me he was chasing back across the Yellow River.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
So where, when you returned, where did you go?
I went to Camp General. No. I'm terrible. When I turned Korea, I came to Frisco, and from there, some of us, we stayed in Frisco, San Francisco, there for about 2 weeks, and we were transferred to Great Lake, Illinois, where we was discharged, most of us. And all of them that wasn't discharged, the day they sent the one that they didn't have but a few months to go to Great Lake, and the rest of them that had some time to go, they went to Camp Lejeune. You see, when I went to Korea, I was due out, but by them giving me by them putting a year extension, so that's why I had to. That's why they shipped me to Great Lake for the discharge, because see, my lifetime, it was I had did a year over the time that I was supposed to do.
While you were away, did you communicate with anyone back at home? Were you able to hear from or your mother or your grandparents?
Yes, I wrote them all the time. I hear from them all the time.
And how important was that?
Well, it was just a real life with them. I reckon with me too, because they didn't like the idea that I was in, but they didn't have any complaints about it.
Mm-hmm. They were worried about you.
Yes.
Yeah. So when did you get back to? Did you go back to Alabama after you left the Great Lakes?
Yes, I went back to Alabama, and but I didn't. I stayed around there for about maybe almost a year, because see, I was gonna go back to school and try to get a high school education, and I found out the school I was going to that they wasn't paying any benefit, to it wasn't qualified for to accept veterans. So after I found that out, then I left and went to Best Money. And from there, I came to Chicago.
And when did you come to Chicago?
Came to Chicago in must have been about the latter part of 1952.
Okay. And why Chicago?
Well, I had my brother. I had a brother here, and so that was the best. I figured that was the best spot because I knew somebody there, and at first I wanted to go to Cleveland, Ohio, but I had relatives there. But my brother told me the job was pretty good here, so that's why I came to Chicago.
Was it an older or younger brother?
It was a younger brother.
Younger brother.
I'm the oldest of his family.
Okay. And what did you do for work when you got to Chicago?
Well, I got a job at the steel mill, Wisconsin. And I worked there for a while. And different end from there to factories, electrolighting. They made fluorescent lamps and stuff. I worked there. And from there, where did I go? I worked there for about 15 or so years, and then there when they moved out of town and went to Texas, so I had some friends that were working in construction, so I went out there with them. So that's where I wanted to retire from, and being out there in construction.
After your service, did you stay in touch with anyone from your time in the service?
It's just only a few the only one I stayed in, to my guys in the service, the only one I stayed in touch with was the one that I met here that was in the service with me. I happened to be, I went to some ballroom dance, and I met about two of my friends, and I was in the service. I was in the same company I was with, and I met them, and that's about the size. But the rest of them I didn't stay in touch with. So some of the ones I met, and when I came here, I still,
You still know now?
Yeah.
Really? What's his name?
His name is David Sussberry.
David. Okay.
Yeah. What's that?
You've known each other a long time then.
Yes. I first met him when he was 18. As soon as he got out of boot camp training.
Really?
Yeah.
62 years.
Yes. See, I think he's about 76, and I'm 80 now. He's about 78. But he's about the only one that was in the service with me that I still, that I still know of right now. I guess the rest of them probably passed on.
That's quite a milestone to be friends with someone that long.
Yes.
You have a lot of history together.
Yes.
Do you miss anything about being in the service? Or could you tell us what the best part about that time was?
No, I don't miss anything. Nothing.
What was the worst part?
Well, it wasn't that. The worst part was not getting any advancement, you know, in a promotion and stuff. You know, that was hard to come by with the black troops, because we didn't have nobody while I was there over first sergeant. Now it was just before I got out. I think they got one black lieutenant, and now that was about it. To see that promotion was hard to come by. It wasn't no black officer. All that time that I was there, I never did see. I heard of this second lieutenant, but I never did see him.
And I'm assuming you'd see many white soldiers that had less skill or experience moving right up.
Exactly.
Did you talk to your fellow soldiers about that, or how did you deal with that?
Well, we talked about it, but most of us felt that the best thing was to when your time was up, you just get the heck out of there.
Were soldiers that spoke up, did they get punished, or was there any kind of poor treatment as kind of punishment for speaking up?
No, it wasn't known. I don't know if none that spoke up. But it just very few spoke up because they were disciplined, so you know they put you on all kind of bad details and stuff like that.
Right. Have your feelings about the war changed over time? You said earlier that war is a dirty business.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's have changed greatly. I think it's too. I think they feel too many. I dislike it because they kill too many innocent people. You know, they're not innocent people that not involved in the war. You know, I saw so much dirty goes on where you know they just kill innocent people. I get so bad. You know, the guy, sick guys like Bush, I feel that he should be in peace, you know, because he talking that talk, but he talking about equators and all that stuff, and there ain't no equators in Iraq. It's just the Iraq people, they're fighting among themselves, but they don't seem to like. They want to stop them. I don't know. It's sickening. I don't know.
So it brings today's events in the war in Iraq bring up those feelings again.
Yes, it did. Yes.
I have a couple more questions I'd like to ask about too. That when later in your life when you were diagnosed with cancer, and do you remember when you were told of the diagnosis, and who told you and how you felt?
Yeah, I still told me that. I think it was Dr. Kim, he was at Michael Reese. He said he had policy or something, but I didn't feel bad about it because I don't know, I just didn't take it seriously.
How old were you when you got the diagnosis?
It's been about 3 or 4 years ago. Okay. See, I first knew about it when back in 2003. So it didn't bother me. Only time that I felt about it when I went for both be going for treatment and they wanted to know what I wanted to take what kind of treatment I wanted. So doctors told me different ones, chemo and different kind, and surgery and stuff like that. And then they said that I could take a shot for every 3 months, and they told me that it wasn't cured, but it would just suppress it. So I asked her, about how long would that last? She said, well, it might go 7 years and it might not. So I said, well, then I don't want the surgery, I don't want the chemo. I said, well, I'll take the shot thing. I thought, to me, that was the easy way. And when she told me 7 years, and that's what so that is what I'm doing now. I take shots now every 3 months for it. And it don't bother me any, not much. I just have hot flashes from the medication, I guess, if she told me, but they said they can give me more, but I didn't want any more drugs, so all in all, I don't have no pain now. So.
Who did you talk to? Do you have family members that you talked to, or how did you come to that decision about your treatment?
Yeah, I didn't talk to nobody, but I made up that right then and there when the doctor was talking to me. That just been a few years ago. Mm-hmm. So I didn't make no decision with nobody because I felt that it was my life, so I made my own decision, and I didn't want to ask nobody because I didn't want to go on whatever they was going to say. So.
And are you satisfied with your decision and the information that you were given?
Yes, I'm very much satisfied with my decision and the information. Because my brother, he had prostate cancer too. He had surgery, so I don't know. He seemed like he's done about the same as I am. He still getting around on it. Only thing only thing bothers me now. It don't bother me either. It's just that at times I have a tendency to go to the bathroom a lot and stuff like that. But I done got justice to that.
That's the worst part of the illness so far that you've experienced.
Yeah, that's the worst part. I don't have any pains or nothing like that.
As a veteran, are you satisfied with the treatment you've received, the health care you've received?
Yes, I'm satisfied with the treatment I received. The only thing that for the cancer is concerned, but I want to skip that a minute. See, the only thing that bothered me is I had eye surgery for cataract, and they made a boo-boo that, so that's the only thing that's different that I have now. See, on that surgery, see, they say in the process of them performing the surgery, they dropped a piece of the cataract back in my eye, and 2 weeks later they had to go back in and get it out. So my eye, it's bothering me. It's looking like it be closing up on me. It don't hurt, but it's like it closing up. Now that is the worst part I had with the VA. Mm-hmm. And they asked me about having surgery on my other eye for the same thing. I told them no. I said, y'all have blinded me already. So I'm not going to take no chance on my other eye. Which I'm not blind. I can see out of the eye, but things look kind of blurry to me at times, you know, and most of the time, and I can't see it. A lot of things I don't see until I get close up on them. But other words, I think I live with that.
Did you start your own family after you came back from Korea?
Did I start my own family?
Yeah.
No.
You never married?
Never married.
I was just going to ask you though, you're 80 years old and you know you've lived a long life. What have you learned that you would like to tell maybe young people?
Well, I don't want to. I try to talk to them, but now, see, the young people, they don't want to listen because they see that I've been accomplished much in my 80 years. So the first thing they tell me, say, "Who are you to talk to me about what I should do?" But I feel that they should try to prepare themselves for you know, for a good life, and instead of just having fun and all that stuff. But I don't do too much talking with them anyway now.
They don't seem that interested?
No.
Have you talked to anyone else about your war experience or told the story of your life to anyone else?
Of course. Yes.
Who have you talked to?
A lot of youngster people, that want to know what it was about.
Right.
Other words, I don't like to talk about at that military thing because I see it. I see it as it was a stupid thing for me, but I was more. It wasn't stupid. It wasn't a thing, but I just hated the thought that if I had got wounded or something like that out to my country, fighting the country. See, to me, this country it's not for me. It's just for. Because I never been treated, as a citizen. I've been treated as a maybe what you call it, second class. Now, well, I just never. I didn't see no fit. I wasn't part of it. When I say I wasn't, I don't see the black period as a part of it because. If we were, we wouldn't be having all these different, to my civil rights movement and citizens. See, I don't, in fact, I did not consider myself as a citizen. Let me get right down to it because, see, if I was a citizen, then I wouldn't be faced with all these double standards. See, that's the part that bothers me. But nothing, I ain't gonna try to fight about it because I done went through it all this time, so. And people say that because I tell a lot of my friends, I say, "You stupid." I say, "You think you were talking about you a citizen? I haven't had you a citizen, and you all around here talking about you want your civil rights." And, stuff like that. But I feel I done lived to, past that, but all that time, so I don't even want to talk about it now.
But I think that's very interesting that, the way you put it, that you didn't feel like a citizen because you weren't treated like a citizen.
Exactly. But I don't want to be a citizen. Well, you got to pass this bill for citizenship and all that stuff. And it's still going on. It never stop. It's just It just went high, but it just went high tech. See now that is now that's another thing now that is a part of mine. This type of thing. See, I didn't get a chance to go to school just because of that. You see, because see, I only said
race.
yeah, I only went to the 8th grade. By me being in a rural area, and they didn't have no school, but like they had school for black people. It was 10 miles away and didn't have no way to get there. But in the meantime, they had school buses that were passing. The white kids, they had school buses, but the blacks, they had to get there the best way they could. So, see,
and you've watched that your whole life.
I've watched that my whole life. Now, it didn't change considerably for the schooling now. It's there, man. See, if I had dad had done when I was coming up there, and I've been proud of the country or whatever you want to say. I think I knew I got a bum deal because I didn't know education simply because that's the only thing I could see because I was black, and they didn't provide that for black at that time. You see, that time, especially in the rural area, and they played a thing in if you was in a city maybe better, but if you was in one of them countries, rural area, you but I'm not mad now because it been did so long to.
Well, I have one last question. Who have been the most important people in your life?
Who have been the most important people in my life?